Hi everyone. So today let us start with functions in C programming. So in this video we will learn the function definition, then why functions are required or the advantages of the function, then the parts of a function, two types of functions and how to pass parameters in a function. So let us see what is a function. Now the basic definition of function is that meaning performing some kind of a task. Similarly in C, a function will have a set of statements which is used to perform some kind of a task. Now say for example, we have a function to add two numbers. So in that case, we will write statements to perform addition of two numbers. Next, let us see the advantages of the function. First advantage is that it is used to reduce the complexity of the code. Now say for example, we have a large program with many functions which make the program complex. So in that case, we can divide the large program into sub-programs or functions, and each sub-program will then perform a separate task. Second advantage is that it is easy to test code and debug, meaning it will be easier to find the errors in the code. Now say suppose if we divide a large program into sub-program of functions, then it will be much easier to find out errors in those smaller functions. Third, it allows reusability, meaning the functions can be reused, and then it increases the program readability. Now say suppose you divide a complex program into sub-programs, then definitely it will become more readable. Now one important thing we need to know here is that the C program will have at least one function, that is the main function. That is, if there are no sub-functions, then there will be at least one function which is the main function, and the program will always start from the main function. So let us see the parts of a function. There are three parts of the function. First is the function prototype. Function prototype is the declaration of a function. Now like how we declare any variables before using them in the code, same way before using any function in the code, we have to declare a function. So function prototype is just the declaration of a function. The syntax is the return type, the function name, and in the bracket we specify the parameters. Return type will be the data type of the value returned by the function. Say for example, a function is returning an integer value, then the return type will be int. Or say a function is returning a decimal value, the return type will be float. Or say a function is not returning any value, then the return type will be void, because void means null. Function name will be the name of the function. You can give any function name, but make sure you do not use any keywords, and also do not use any special symbols apart from underscore. Then in this round bracket, we specify the parameters. Parameters are the values or the data that we pass from one function to another function. Say for example, we write void message. It means that void is the return type, so the function won't return any value. Message is the name of the function, and in the round brackets we have not written anything, which means there are no parameters, so there won't be any values which will be passed from one function to another function. Second part of the function is the function definition. Now in function prototype, we were only declaring a function, but the actual code of the function or the actual details of the function will be written inside the function definition. The syntax is the return type, then the function name. In the round brackets, we write the parameters, and in the brace brackets, we write the body of the function. Now return type will be the data type of the value returned by the function. Function name will be the name of the function. You can give any function name, but make sure you do not use any special symbols apart from underscore. Also do not use any keywords. Then in the round brackets, we write the parameters. Parameters are the values or the data that we want to pass from one function to another function. Then in the brace bracket, we write the body of the function. The body of the function will contain the actual statements which are to be executed. Now consider this example. This means that the return type is void. Void meaning the function won't return any value. The name of the function is message. Now inside this round bracket we have not written anything, which means that there are no parameters. And inside this brace brackets we have one printf statements which will print letters learn functions. So basically this function, that is message, will perform the task of printing this particular statement, that is it will print let us learn functions. The third part of the function is the function call. Using this function call, we can call a particular function. The syntax is, first we write the function name and in the round brackets we specify the parameters. Now parameters are also known as arguments. So in this round brackets we specify the parameters. Say for example, we want to call this function message, then we will write the function name, that is message, and since there are no parameters, we will keep this as empty. So nothing will be written inside this round brackets. So let us see the parts of the function with the help of a code. First we write the header file. Then this is the function prototype or the function declaration. Now before we use any function in the code, we always have to declare that particular function. Now in this code, the function which we have used is this function message. So before using this function, we need to declare it. So as a result, we have written void message. Void because this function message is not returning any value. Now if you look at this function over here, there is no return statement. That means this function message is not returning any value. As a result, the return type is void. Hence we have written void message. Now this function message is not passing any parameters. As a result, we have not written anything inside this round brackets. Also, one thing we need to note here, we need to declare a function before calling the function. Now we have called the function over here, that is inside the main function. As a result, we have declared the function above the main function. Next, we need to know that even if there are more than one functions in the code, the program will always start from the main function. Inside the main function, we have a function call. So this is the function call. We are calling a function message and there are no parameters. As a result, we have not written anything inside this round brackets. So once this message function is called, control will pass over here. This is the function definition. Now inside this message function, we have a printf statement. So it will print a statement, let us learn functions. So after executing this statement, there are no more statements inside this function. So after executing all the statements inside this function, control will return back to the calling function. The calling function is the main function. So the control will pass over here. Now inside the main function, this message, this function call has already been executed. So now it will execute this printf statement. So it will print main function. So after executing this printf statement, there are no more statements over here. Hence the main function will terminate. And once the main function terminates, the entire program will terminate. So in this code, this is the function prototype wherein we declare the function. This is the function call, the point from where we call the function, and this is the function definition. So the output of the code will be, first it will print let us learn functions and then it will print main function. Main function has come on the next line because we have used /n over here. Next, two more important things we need to know here, that is what is a calling function and what is a called function. Now calling function is the one which is calling another function or the one which has the function call. Now in this example, main function has the function call. As a result, main will be the calling function. Next, called function is the one which has been called or the function definition. So in this example, this message function has been called. So this message function will be the called function. Let us see another example. First we write the header file. Then we will declare the function which we are using in the code. The function which we are using in the code is this function ABC and XYZ. So as a result, first we have declared them. So this becomes the function prototype. Now we have written void ABC because this function ABC is not returning any value. We have just a printf statement over here. There is no return statement. So the return type will be void. Name of the function is ABC. There are no parameters. So nothing will be written inside this round brackets. Then we have written void XYZ because this function XYZ is not returning any value. So the return type will be void. Name of the function is XYZ. There are no parameters. So inside this round brackets, we won't write anything. So both these are the function declaration or the function prototype. So whatever I've written here are the comments so that you all understand the code. Next, the program will start from the main function. So first we have a printf statement, so it will print main function. Then we have a function call to function abc. So control will pass to this particular function, that is to function abc. Now inside this abc function we have a printf statement, so it will print function abc. There are no more statements over here, so control will return back to the main function. Now over here, till here all the statements are executed. So the next statement is, it will print main function again. After this, there is another function call to function xyz. So control will pass to this xyz function. Now over here in this xyz function, we have a printf statement, so it will print function xyz. There are no more statements over here, so control will return back to the main function. So till here we have executed, there are no more statements, that means the main function will terminate. And once the main function terminates, the entire program will terminate. So the output of the code will be, first it will print main function, then function abc, then main function again, and then function xyz. So this is the output, that is first it will print main function, then function abc, then main function again, and then function xyz. Every statement is on a new line because we have used /n. Also whatever I have written after this slashes, that is this function prototype, function call, this function definition, are the comments so that you all understand the code. So let us see which is the calling function and the called function in this code. Now as we had seen, calling function is the one which has the function call. Now in this code, function call, that is call to function abc and call to function xyz, is present inside the main function. So the main function will be the calling function. And called functions are the one which have been called of the function definition. So over here, this function, that is this abc, and this function xyz will be the called functions. Also, two important things we need to note here is that a program can have more than one function or it can have many functions. And second thing is that a function can be called any number of times or it can be called more than once. So let us see the types of functions. There are two types of functions. One is library function and second is user-defined functions. Now these library functions are also known as predefined functions, and in order to use these library functions, we need to write the appropriate header file. Say for example, we want to use library functions, that is printf and scanf. Now in order to use these functions, we need to include a header file, that is #include stdio.h, which means that the function definitions for this library function is present in this header file, that is #include stdio.h. Similarly, if we want to use some mathematical functions like power and square root, then we have to write a header file, that is #include math.h, which means that the function definition for this library function, that is power and square root, is included in the header file, that is #include math.h. This way there are many library functions, and in order to use the library functions, we need to include the appropriate header file. Now you all must have seen that whenever you all write the code and use library functions, like say for example printf and scanf, then you all do not write the function definition for it in the code, because the function definition is already present in the header files. So library functions are also known as predefined functions. Next are the user-defined functions. User-defined functions are the functions defined by the user. Now consider the examples which we had seen in the previous slide, where we had written the function definition and declaration in the code itself. So all those are user-defined functions, and we will see user-defined functions in detail in the next slide. So next, let us see how to pass parameters or how to pass data from one function to another. So as an example, let us see the program of finding square of a number using user-defined function. So let us see the code. First we write the header file, then we will declare the function which we have used in the code. Now the function which we have used in the code is the square function. The name of the function is square. As a result, we have written square over here. We have written int square because the function square is returning an integer value. Now if you look at this square function, we can see that it is returning s, and s is of integer data type. That means this function is returning an integer value. As a result, the return type is int, and hence we have written int square, which means the function will return an integer value. In the brackets, we have written int over here, which means that we'll be passing one parameter which is of integer data type. Now if you look at the square function, we can see that there is one parameter which is of integer data type. As a result, we have written int over here, which means that there is one parameter which will be of integer data type. Now one thing we need to remember here is that when we write the function prototype or the function declaration, specifying the data type is important. Even if we write int n or int and the variable name, it is correct, but always we need to specify the data type. Next, the program will start from the main function. We have declared two integer variables, that is num and answer. Then it will ask the user to enter a number. Whatever number the user enters will be stored in this variable num. Say for example, user enters number as 5. So 5 will be stored in this variable num. Next, this statement is the function call. That is, it will call the function square with the variable num. Now we have taken num value as 5. So it will call the function square with value as 5. So once the function square is called, control will pass to this function square. So that means over here we have int n. So this num value which was passed, that is 5 which was passed, will be collected in this variable n. So n value over here will be 5. Remember, while specifying the parameters in the function definition, we need to write the data type as well as the variable name. So as a result, I have written int n over here. And also while taking the variable name, you can take the same variable name which is in the function call, or you can take different variable name. Here I have used a different variable name. Now in this square function, we have declared an integer variable s which will hold the result. Now this code is to find the square of a number, so we will use the formula n into n. So I have written a statement s equal to n into n. So using this, we will calculate the square of a number and store the result in the variable s. Now in this example, n value was 5. So we will get 5 into 5, result will be 25, and 25 will be stored in the variable s. Next we need to return the result back to the calling function. The result is stored in s, so as a result I have return the statement return s. So that means 25 will be returned back to the calling function. So this value 25 will be returned back to the calling function. So over here we will get 25, and this 25 will be assigned to the variable answer. Finally, we print the answer, that is we print square is 25. There are no more statements after this main function. So as a result, the main function will terminate, and once the main function terminates, the program will also terminate. So this is an example of how we pass parameters. This is the function prototype or the function declaration. Then this is the function call, from where we call another function by passing a parameter, and this is the function definition. Now in this code, the main function is calling the square function by passing a parameter. The square function will calculate the square and return the result back to the calling function or the main function. Now since the integer value is returned, the return type we have mentioned is int. So the output of the code will be, first it will ask the user enter a number, I have entered 5, and then it will print square is 25. So let us see which is the calling function and the called function in this case. As we had seen earlier, calling function is the one which has the function call. So in this program, the function call is present inside the main function. So main will be the calling function, and called function is the one which is been called. So in this case, the square function will be the called function. Next, we need to know two more important things, that is what is an actual parameter and what is a formal parameter. Now actual parameter is the parameter inside the function call, and function call will be present in the calling function. Now in this code, the parameter in the function call is the variable num. So this variable num will be the actual parameter or the actual argument. So in this program, the actual argument will be this variable num. Next, we need to know what is a formal parameter. The formal parameter is the parameter in the function definition or the called function. Now in this program, the parameter in the function definition is this variable n. So over here, this will be the formal argument or the formal parameter. So in this program, the variable num will be the actual parameter, that is the one inside the function call or the calling function, and this variable n will be the formal parameter or the formal argument, that is the one inside the function definition or the called function. Now we need to know that the number and type of actual arguments must match with the formal arguments of the function. Now in this case, the number of actual arguments is only 1, and over here number of formal arguments is also 1. So the number of actual and formal arguments should be the same. Also the type of actual argument over here is integer, and the type of formal argument is also integer. So it means that the number and type of actual and formal argument should be the same. Next, we can use same variable names or different variable names for actual and formal arguments. Now in this case, we have used different variable names, but if we want, we can use even same variable names. So in this code, we have seen how to pass parameters and how to return value back to the calling function. In the next code, we will see how to pass parameters without returning values back to the calling function. Next, we will see how to pass parameters without returning values back to the calling function. So we will take the same example, that is the program to find square of a number using user-defined function. But in this case, we won't return any value back to the calling function. So this is another way of writing the code. So let us see the code. First we write the header file. Then we will declare the function which we are using in the code. The function which we are using in the code is the square function. The name of the function is square. As a result, first we have declared it. We have written void square, void because the function square is not returning any value. Now if you look at this function square, we can see that the function is not returning any value. As a result, the return type is void. Hence we have written void square. Now in this brackets, I have written int, which means that we are passing one parameter which is of integer data type. And the program will start from the main function. We have declared two integer variables, that is num and answer. First we will ask the user to enter a number. Whatever number the user enters will be stored in this variable num. Say suppose user enters number as 5, so num will hold the value 5. Then this statement is the function call, which means we will call the square function passing num as the parameter. Now the num value was 5, so we will call square function with value 5. So once square function is called, control will pass to this function, and whatever value was passed will be collected in this n variable. So n value will be 5. Now in this function square, we have declared an integer variable s which will hold the square of a number. So we will calculate square of a number using this formula. That is, we will calculate n into n and then store the result in variable s. N value we have taken as 5. So we will get 5 into 5, that is 25, which will be stored in variable s. And finally, we will print the result from this variable s, that is 25 will be printed. So while printing, we will print as square is 25. Now after it finishes executing all the statement inside the square function, control will return back to the calling function or the main function. Now inside the main function, we can see that this statement is already executed. There are no more statements to be executed. So the main function will also terminate. And once the main function terminates, the program will terminate. This is an example of how to pass parameters without returning any values. Now, since we are not returning any values, the return type is void, which means the function won't return any value. And in this example, we are printing the answer in the function definition itself. The output of the code will be, first it will ask the user enter a number. I have entered 5. Then it will print square is 25. So in this example also, the main function will be the calling function because the function call is written inside the main function, and the square function will be the called function as this is the function which has been called. And the actual parameter is the one inside the function call. So over here num will be the actual parameter or the actual argument, and formal parameter is the one inside the function definition. So in this example, this variable n will be the formal parameter. This we have already seen that the number and type of actual and formal parameter should be the same. So if we want, we may return a value back to the calling function as we had seen in the previous example, or we may not return a value back to the calling function as in this example. Thank you so much for watching. In the next video, we will learn the two methods of parameter passing, that is call by value and call by reference.